All right. Well, hello everybody. All the people on YouTube and other IGC members. If any of you actually watch this, we're here with our next issue of Masks: New Generation, our weekly, semi-weekly anyway, superhero Teen Titans knockoff type of show where I definitely don't kill my young players and get them in terrible situations. So last week we left off at a rather tense point where the party was given the option to hand over one of their members, Muscle Sheep, to his creator for whatever twisted experiment she wanted to do, and in return, they'd get the tower they want to take down. Sounded like a fair trade to her, but they have refused, and it appears that it has come to battle, but maybe not the battle that Echidna wanted. Would you not say, Ryukin?
Yeah, it is kind of weird. Um, Muscle Fox turned into a sword, and then she put that sword in his mouth.
Yeah, it seems it was definitely holding some powers back for a while, but this is kind of a big, to use our terminology here, moment of truth that's happening. So tonight should be somewhat exciting. So I imagine that this issue of the comic would open up much how the last one ended off, with maybe a full color spread of this dark cave you guys are in, the ceiling covered with just blinking eyes of indistinct shapes, which are the bats clinging to the ceiling. And there's this big metal tower in the middle. Echidna is at its base, all hunched up and weird and mutated, and you guys have formed a circle around her, preparing to battle. Catastrophe, or Cataclysm, however he decides to call himself in the moment, is on Echidna's side and looks eager to fight with his brothers. We will probably go ahead and start there. You guys have the floor, so to speak.
Is it considered animal cruelty if we win?
No, because it's considered self-defense.
Okay, fair enough.
Joanna is silently thinking if she can make catnip in here.
Oh no. Yeah, I don't think mutant chimeras are covered under PETA.
Just gonna check my image.
Isn't a legitimate animal cruelty thing anyway, but that's the tea.
Oh.
But now the question boils down to what is true animal cruelty? Subjecting animals to these cruel, weird experiments, or ending their suffering?
Well, we will find out. Um, I guess my first question will be, is there anything anyone wants to do before we technically like start combat? Because there is a move to do that.
I don't have anything.
I don't need to do anything either.
Okay, no last
Lemon
biting
Brother.
words.
The only thing I can think of is that Void is going to be keeping his eye on. All of a sudden, I'm forgetting her name. The scientist,
Echidna.
Echidna.
Echidna. Yeah, I'm going to be keeping my eye on her just in case she's like gonna start trying anything.
Very fair. We will keep that in mind. Well, we're gonna go ahead and use the enter battle against a dangerous foe as a team move, mouthful aside. So I think, unless someone would disagree, we're gonna go ahead with Muscle Sheep as your leader for this combat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Okay.
valid.
So Muscle Sheep, do you have influence over every teammate?
Over every teammate, no.
Okay, so we don't get that boost. What is your purpose in this fight, Muscle Sheep?
My purpose in this fight, Muscle Sheeb, his goal is to break Echidna's influence over Catastrophe and try and basically free him from this fate of having to battle Sheeb and Fox. Part of that is going to be, of course, fighting Catastrophe. But his main goal is to take down Echidna.
All right. Does anyone have anything notably different in mind than that? Are you pretty unified?
I mean, I'd say yes. Although Jalem's probably thinking they would probably have to incapacitate Echidna somehow.
Fair enough. Wow.
The only differing thing I can think of, and you can tell me if this is like actually related or not, but is the goal of taking down the tower. But that wouldn't really be a goal of this fight. I wouldn't.
Well, okay, I'll pose the question to you this way. If the opportunity presents itself for you guys to destroy the tower and run, would you do that?
I'd
Maybe.
And
on the one hand, yes, but on the other hand, I feel like she needs to have this fight happen. So
so I
Mhm.
think the only
it would depend on how the fight was going, I think.
And I think the only ever option we take that is if either A, Sheeb has clearly won the bout and achieved his objective, or B, we have an opening and Sheeb is with we have an opening, Sheeb is on top, or C, we have to pull Sheeb out of the fight because he's getting too injured. So I think those are the only times we'll take it.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Well, it sounds like for the most part, I would say that you guys are fairly unified in your intent then, so I'll say you'll get that team bonus. Um, Not that it's it's not meant to be bad feelings at all, but in character, do any of you mistrust Muscle Sheep at all? Any kind of outstanding beefs with?
No.
Who could have beef with the good boy?
Yeah, he's
I
been
mean,
too
I
good of a
did
boy.
beat up your car.
He did beat up your car.
But he had good intentions when beating up the car.
So Emily doesn't hold a grudge at all. You're not going to try to beat up his car. All right, so that's four team to the pool, and last but not least, I don't really think you guys are ill prepared or off balance. I think you kind of saw this coming, if unless anyone disagrees. Especially since Sheeb's kind of initiating the fight.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys will have 4 team to the pool. So keep that in mind when you can look over the spending of the team mechanics section there. So make use of that. Yeah, and so I will start us off with leader. Muscle Sheeb, you get kind of the first panel of action here.
I'm going to assess the situation by approaching Catastrophe.
Insert JoJo meme here.
Yes, that is the point.
Okay, so go ahead and roll plus superior, unless you have something that affects that.
I don't. But I did train for this, so I can use my +1 forward. Can I use it on this?
Oh, yeah, you had you did a training session, right? You have that marked on your
Yeah. Can I use the +1 forward on this so it's a hit?
Yes, you can.
Okay, I'm going to use that. I don't want to spend the team on it.
Okay, so as a result of your intense training, given your brother's warning that the end was near, you are able to kind of focus yourself, and you'll get to ask me one question.
All right. I think Muscle Sheep, like his overarching goal is, to go for Echidna, but he knows he has to go through Catastrophe first. So his question is, how could we best end this quickly?
You have only met him for a short time, but Catastrophe is a fairly shallow figure. He is the opposite of your reluctance. He is fully committed to taking you and Fox down and becoming the head of this chimera that Echidna wants to create. To end this quickly, all he's thinking about is that he wants to take you and Fox down and complete his transformation ascension.
Okay, so I think what Sheep is going to do as he's approaching, he's basically going to say, "Leave this to me." Oh, wait, Sheep voice. "Leave this to Sheep. You take Echidna."
Okay, so we definitely have a JoJo like you just walking up to Cataclysm, the threatening Katakana appearing beside you
Mhm.
almost. You say that the spotlight kind of focuses on the two of you as your friends maybe look up and back and see Echidna just kind of cackling in the background. Free slot. I mean, you rest of y'all feel free to pop in here and say whatever you want to do.
Highlight takes out popcorn.
I'm not taking out popcorn.
Well, what would Highlight like to do?
That's a good question. I'm thinking. I wonder if we take her out first, or if we make her call off Cat, then that would be a quicker way to end this.
You can say that in character as you guys kind of confer a bit back here and strategize.
Take
Yeah, that's
her down.
we beat her up.
Mara will crack his knuckles, which has a more pronounced effect on someone with bone manipulation powers. And he'll say, I can beat her up for you.
Exactly, so Meryl can beat her up. Because doesn't Cat listen to her? Like, she basically commands him?
I don't know that she's commanding him so much as she's indoctrinated him.
But, oh, she would have influence, though, right? Over him?
If you could somehow convince her to tell him to stop, perhaps, but I don't think that simply defeating her would stop him.
Hmm. That's a good point. Okay, so let's just go for the cat. Someone throw water at him.
Okay, so you guys are kind of pass over your teammates' instructions of his honorable duel and kind of try and take down the immediate.
If he wants to have an honorable duel, should we let him? I mean, that's the thing. I think he can do it. But then there's a little bit where it's like, can he do it?
Having all of us dogpile onto one person is a good idea. That sounds like a good way for us to hurt each other by accident.
we're kind of also in this is out of character. We're also in pretty close quarters right now, right? We're in the sewer tunnel, not in that large chamber.
I thought y'all had re-entered the cavern.
If we did, then that's a little better at least. But I'm fine. I'll say this in character. If things start looking bleak, we can interfere. But I have faith as well that Sheeb can handle this.
Have his anime fight, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Why
So
don't we
I'm
try to like?
also-
Hmm.
My train of thought is let Sheeb have his fight. This is his moment. So while he's fighting Catastrophe, the rest of us take on Echidna, or at least attempt to subdue her.
Apprehend her.
Tomato, tomato.
I'm down for that.
All right. Well, unless anyone else would like to take the first move, you guys can send Marrow forward.
Go forth, Bone Boy.
Just for
Do that
shits
again.
and giggles, because I think I'm still holding on to, well, not holding on physically, but holding on to Sheeb's strength power. I had not leached, what am I trying to say? Copied off of him. I am going to. Ooh, I know what would be good. I'm going to shapeshift into the deadliest of all the chimera creatures, the muscle honey badger.
Okay.
What?
Are you going to do as you please?
Yes, I am.
What are you going to do as a honey badger?
At the moment, just approach menacingly towards Echidna.
Okay, so Titania, you get a panel of Titania watching, stars in her eyes as her two big, strong protectors break with the pack, march towards Echidna. They walk to the left and right, either side of the missiles. Um, no eye contact breaks. You could just, dead man's land, pass her and go towards Echidna. Perhaps maybe, oh, we lost Richter again.
Whoop.
Probably got home. Well, maybe.
So as you pass by them and sort of start to stand before Echidna, her beak will click and her taloned hands will just keep rubbing together. Do you mind, young men? You're in the way of my spectacle.
Well, if you're looking for a spectacle, we can provide one.
I think you're speaking 60 years too early, alien.
I believe you underestimate us considerably.
Marrow's wrist starts to ripple, and once again, that bone, almost spear, kind of covers his hand as he's almost looking like he's going to pierce her with. Other panel, Muscle Cat's eyes narrow as he just stares at you, Sheep. Well, if it is going to be one-on-one, then here we shall have it. I will defeat Fox after I claim your essence.
Sheep is going to say something, but he's got He's got the sword in his mouth, so it's kind of more like, oh,
You'd get a nice panel of like cat like quirking an eyebrow, very perplexed face. Yes, well, my intelligence will not increase drastically after defeating you. Well, light, unless you have a different plan. Light. Sorry.
I got nothing to retort to that. I'm just ready to start attacking him.
Yeah, I'll say the lightning line of tension between your eyes snaps as he lunges forward at you, kind of open-armed wrestler kind of style, and you lean in. Are you leading sword or fist first?
If he is jumping at me, I'm going to attempt to do a roundhouse kick.
All right. So it sounds like you'll directly engage a threat, and he will do the same to you.
Okay.
Ooh.
Directly engage. Oh
Okay.
no.
You meet in the middle of your sort of no man's land, and you both collide into each other violently. There's, sparks and sound effects flying in the panel. You both launch into each other. You hit him, definitely. You manage to kick him sort of to the side, but then he wraps his arms around you and just tightens. You can almost feel the bones in your body start to creak and strain as the sheer power of this cat's arms wrap around you.
Still me or someone else?
So we don't have initiative order, so just whatever feels
Okay.
natural.
I'm going to attempt to move the sword either in my mouth or drop it down to one of my hands to attack him with it. I think. I think maybe that would just be directly engaged, but I'm not sure.
I would say we could do another round of rolling for that, yeah.
All right. I will directly engage the threat of catastrophe.
Ooh, nice. So he tried to go in, his powers activating, his bulk increasing even further as he's trying to like just choke the life out of you, but he's unable to really finish the job as suddenly you sift the wolf style. You move the blade, strike him with it. There's a nice gash on his shoulder, and you're able to get him to release you.
Huzzah!
Let's see. Void Spawn, you watch as Marrow looks at you, sort of nods his head, and then starts to go to where he's going to attack Echidna. Are you going to join?
I'll try as best I can to synchronize so we're like really putting her on her back foot at the start, hopefully.
I'll get ready to support them.
Okay, so Void Spawn, you directly engage a threat. There actually is a support move you can use, Dan. So if you want to roll plus mundane, you might be able to help.
Am I
There's a
allowed?
support mode? No, sorry, that was my bad.
Am I allowed to do that to help Marrow maybe if he's helping Void?
You can try, yeah.
My mundane sucks. But okay. Oh, I try to
so
morally
you guys-
support Void Spawn, and it just doesn't work.
You do have teams in the pool.
I mean, I didn't even have anything in mind in regard to this support, so I was just like readying an action for myself in case they needed it. In essence,
Okay, so narratively, how might this look? We get this coordinated honey badger bone punch. What are you two doing to try and support them?
okay. Well, this is gonna fail, but I would have been trying to disorient her. So using my lights to try and like distract her so she wouldn't have seen it coming. But of course that fails, so I don't know what it would have done instead.
Okay, so I'll say since you two typically your powers synergize really well, I'll say probably unless you have something different in mind, Emily, that's probably like you both work together on that, so it'll like partly succeed.
I'll take it.
That's fine. I wasn't quite sure what her powers would be helpful in a way that wouldn't hurt her party members either, so I'm totally kosher with us working together.
So as you guys kind of follow Ryukin's or Muscle Sheep's instructions and go for Echidna, your two frontliners dive in there. You guys try and use your combo loudspeaker noise to light powers to distract Echidna. Um, not a super successful maneuver, as we'll explain in a minute, but Emily, you can give, let's see, on a hit, you can either give Void Spawn potential, you can clear a condition of his, or have him shift his labels.
Mm-mm. Am I allowed to ask him what label shift would be most beneficial for him, or is that not allowed?
Yeah, I mean, you guys can ask that.
Could always use a bit of danger, I guess. 'Cause I'm
Everyone
at
likes a
0
bit
on
of
that.
danger.
Unless you
who's
do
going
have a
like that?
condition, but
I do have 2 conditions at the moment.
oh, okay.
Neither one would really affect combat, but still not healthy to have in case I start taking a lot of powerful blows.
Okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and clear one of those. Whichever one you want, I will do that instead.
I think with the backup of my allies, Insecure seems like a good story one to get rid of.
Yeah, I would agree. It's a really nice team coordinated movement as you guys launch this combined assault against Echidna. You've got your uh, Eskimo brother beside you. You have your cheerleaders behind cheering you.
Oh god, basically.
But you guys, you do this combined, very anime side by side punch. His is kind of a stabby punch, but it works. And you both connect with the tower. There'd be a nice panel of your fist denting the tower, Marrow's sticking into it, but Echidna's nowhere to be seen. You both look up, and the next panel, there's a goat hoof on your arm and a goat hoof on his arm, and a tail just wraps around your neck.
That's disturbing.
Muscle Sheep, you managed to get a cut off. He released you. You roll out of the way. What's your next course of action?
Next course of action. Let's see. I mean, I think just keep directly engaging him for now. Really, my plan is to keep him occupied while the rest of the team goes for Echidna.
Okay. Let's do this then. Since you'll probably just kind of trade physical blows for a while, just back and forthing. This isn't so much a matter of engaging him less a matter of danger because
Yeah.
you're both consistently being violent. So let's come at it with who wins the tug of war, so to speak. So let's have you make a unleash your powers check, and he will do the same and see who can kind of overpower the other.
All right. I will unleash my powers.
Okay, so yeah, there'll be while the echidna stuff is going on, just panel after panel of you guys slamming into each other, WWE wrestler style. There's lots of martial arts being thrown out. You probably make some good dents in the cave floor. Um, you're engaging your superpowers, Muscle Sheep. You're getting big and beefy and landing blow after blow, but Muscle Cat started a good half a foot shorter than you. He's a good foot taller than you now, and he's almost twice as wide. He's just hulking out, and suddenly your blows are denting him less and less, and it's not looking super good.
I'm going to talk to the sword that is Muscle Fox and hope he can talk back. I don't know if he can. He will say, I will say, this is. I don't know if we can win.
The sword does not speak. What happens is the hilt of the sword becomes a tail that's fluffy and wag, and
Mm-hmm.
then a voice emanates from the tail as it wiggles sort of in your grasp as it says, "You must look within yourself, sheep. Sharpen your sword. Defeat him.
But she does not have a sword.
Then you must make one, brother."
He's gonna look at his look at his hand, like in his left hand he's got the sword, in the other hand he's like got just like in his bare hand he's just gonna go like just like concentrate really hard, but like nothing's going to happen.
Yeah, we get that panel, like, you're going almost red-faced. Then, like, the next panel is that same exact shot, but like half of your face is kind of dented, and there's just a cat fist.
Oh,
Oh, that's great.
Hey, Richter.
What just happened? Because everything just cut out.
I got punched in the face.
Oh, well.
Let's see. So what is Jalim up to since you haven't been with us for a second?
So, where is she standing currently?
We had kind of three camps going on. You were kind of hanging out with Emily and Highlight, who are this like kind of acting like cheerleaders for the moment.
That
yeah, dressed and everything.
okay. So, would she have seen Echidna like wrap all of a sudden like wrap her tail thing around either Void or Marrow's neck?
Yeah, she was going for Void's neck. You probably can see that from here, kind of in between the hulking fight that is Sheep and Cat.
Okay. I have an idea, but I can only do it one person, so okay. So she's going to take aim at Muscle Cat and empty the clip. So she's engaging the cat, so to speak.
Okay, you're shooting the cat.
Yeah.
Okay,
Or at least
roll.
just like get its attention or get it to not look at Sheep for a bit.
Okay, so this is interesting because you were gonna have to roll really well because
Mhm.
he's so hulked out that your bullets are probably gonna bounce off of his pecs. That's how beefy.
Mm.
But
Well,
if you're
because
just oh sorry.
she's not looking to deal damage, she's looking to get his attention.
Right. So the cool thing is you could probably get away with rolling to provoke him then, which would be let's see, that is superior instead of danger.
Okay, I'll do that. So here we go.
Oh, nice. Okay,
And
so you need to tell me exactly what it is that you're trying to get them to do.
so at this point, like from her vantage, like she's seeing like Cat just like looming over Sheeb.
Yeah, they were kind of, I would say that she took a moment and kind of like reflected, and he got a face full of fist for it.
So seeing that, Jilim reacted, rushing towards him, firing the full clip, and just screaming at the top of her lungs, "Get away from him, you bitch!"
Okay, so there'll be the nice sound effects, bubbles, uh, of your pow pow pow. Cat turns his head, that is almost kind of sinking into his shoulders at the moment. His neck is kind of disappearing as he bulks up.
Oh
He just
god.
he kind of turns and looks at you. You could almost see the red eyes, glow effect. Emily and Highlight, I'd imagine you guys take almost a comic step to the right, like distancing yourself as Cat starts to barrel towards Jill.
You're on your own.
Can I stick my leg out?
You can try, yeah.
That be directly engaged threat?
I'm going to say that's actually defending Jalem from her own mistakes.
Do I roll for that? Do.
That would be plus Savior.
Ooh, my leggy wasn't long enough.
Can I use
You
a
still have
team for
team.
her?
Yeah, this would be a great time for team. So who would
Yeah.
like to help her with that?
I'll do it.
I don't know if you can help save yourself.
Oh.
I
Fine,
could
fair.
I could throw the fox sword and
I'll
knock him off balance.
Or Highlight, your power is literally just light bending, right?
yeah, but I can like make a shield.
I was gonna say, why don't you just like throw a flashbang in his face?
Okay. So I'll send him off balance with my powers. And by doing that I'll add a team.
Okay, so you'll spend that team. You guys are down to 3 now. That turns that into a partial success. So Emma, you have to choose one. You either add a team to the pool to kind of make up for that. You can take influence over someone you protect, clear condition for yourself. So those are your options. But you're gonna get a bit of danger onto yourself because it's still only a partial hit.
Okay. You said I could take influence?
See, so it looks like you already have influence over Jalem. So your choices are probably either to clear a condition or to add a team to the pool.
I don't have a condition, so I'll add a team.
Okay, back up to 4.
Yeet.
Right. So what will happen then as Cat starts to barrel towards Jalem and if Cat is already starting to dwarf Sheep, I mean, Jalim, he could probably like crush you with just his foot. I mean, you look like a toy to him. But someone even smaller than that, Emily sticks her leg out after kind of this comic sidestep. It's enough. Somehow he trips, and what he comes face first into isn't Jalim, but a barrier of light that makes a nice, satisfying thunk sound as his face connects with
Just like when cats run into the glass doors.
it. Yeah,
Oh
it's
no.
exactly that.
Find that gif off of Reddit now.
Like the French commercial.
No, it's more like those. Have you seen where they put just clear tape at the bottom of a doorway and the cat's walking?
I
Yeah.
knew that video. Did I not?
There's more than one video.
The Korean people that did it.
See, watch this video. Yes, it's exactly that.
Poor cat.
Quelle surprise, la seconde boulangerie du jour.
I just opened that and I think the computer, my recording, just picked up that random French.
Okay, so we get that nice thunk. Cat kind of picks himself up a little bit, shakes what's left of his neck to kind of clear the stars around his head. He's got one cross eye stuck on you, Jalim, and one cross eye stuck on Emily now as he's looking down at these very crushable little girls.
Hmm.
Okay, Void Spawn. I mean, you don't really have well, I mean, you're next to the bone guy, but you don't have bones. So maybe that's a weird sensation for you, but your neck is being constricted by a tail.
Uh, just for the time being, because I imagine she's clever enough, she'll catch on pretty quick. But I'm going to pretend like I'm choking.
It's not a super pleasant sensation, but yeah, it's probably not having the same effect on you.
Yeah, it's definitely squeezing the mass connecting the brain to whatever else, but not really the same need for air to go through the mouth and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, but she's sort of standing like in this position above you guys. Um, let's see, Marrow is trying to probably like shake her off, strike back at her, get her to let you go, type of a thing, and she's just cackling, kind of dancing around, moving above you guys, jumping off of the towers, lower levels, that kind of thing, kind of taunting you, staying out of reach.
The tail is still around my neck.
Yes, it appears rather long, or at least like she can make it as long as she wants.
I'm gonna try to grab onto it with both hands and then just start twirling myself around to try and use the centrifugal force to spin her around.
Okay, because you still have Sheeb's powers, and this would really kind of require them to work, it's going to be an unleash your powers check.
All right. Hopefully, I'll do a little bit better than last.
You can do it.
Eh,
Okay, so this will work. I will get to have an asterisk unless you take a condition, though. What was that?
I said I'll take the asterisk.
Okay, so feeling a strength that does not normally belong to you coursing through your supple honey badger limb. you start to spin her around almost comedically, like doing the full 360 centrifugal force thing. She's in the air, just being suspended by the motion and the G forces. Are you just trying to keep her there, or are you gonna try and throw her?
If I can, because I don't know how, like, because you said like she seems to have control over how long it is. But if I can, I'd like to try to slam her into the tower, kill two birds with one stone.
Okay, yeah, I'll say you can do that. Her shrieking, almost kind of giggling, turns into a more of a actual scream as suddenly she smashes into the lower side of this tower, makes a real big dent in it. Actually, she goes inside of it. Um, the tail slips from your grasp. You feel a pricking sensation, but then you start to feel the strength of Muscle Sheep vanish from your frame.
Uh-oh.
You essentially spent all of its juice with your effort there.
Excuse me.
I think you cut off there at the end.
Sorry, I said you kind of spent its the remaining juice of his powers on that move there.
Okay. Well, got a little bit done with it anyway.
Yeah, there'd be a panel of you looking down at that pricking sensation you felt, and there is a bit of a wound on like your collarbone area. I'd imagine there'd be a panel of sort of this smoking, torn hole in the tower, and the tail that was hanging limply out of it slinks back up inside, disappearing. And that's not a fuzzy tail like it was a minute ago. It's a scorpion's tail that slings back inside.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
Okay, highlight. Cat is on his knees beside your friends here, and he's looking like they're about to become mochi in a few seconds.
Did you say mochi?
Mochi.
Uh. Oh. Is Muscle Cat basically like an animal cat? Like he would have the same features?
Yeah, it's the same kind of deal as muscle sheep, like human animal kind of hybrid.
Because I remember that. Well, I think cats are more sensitive to light, right? That's why they can see in the dark.
Well, I'm sure it wouldn't be pleasant for him.
Well, either way, I'm just gonna try to. Yeah, sure. I'm gonna blast them in the face.
All right, I will say that's a directly engage a threat then.
Woo!
Okay. Um, you make contact with him there. That pisses him off. I've marked a condition on his sheet. He is angry now. If he wasn't already, but that also kind of will create this opening here. Jalim, Emily, you're there. You definitely are that I'm in danger meme, but you have
You cut off.
as I said, you have him here.
Okay.
So you said you had perhaps a plan in mind, Jalim?
Yeah, like do, Can you?
Is he cutting out or is it just me?
No, you're cutting out.
How about now? Is it better?
Yes.
You're good.
Yeah.
So, Jillian just says to Emily to just play a wide variety of sounds and don't let up. Pretty much like until you see a frequency that hurts him, just keep playing.
So it's just going to be like a really loud radio when you're trying to tune it.
Right.
I can do that.
And then Jillian's actually going to use her action to just like reload.
Okay, you can do that. Muscle Sheep, you kind of are picking yourself off the ground now, kind of rubbing the kinks out of your jaw, and you look forward and you see Cat threatening your friends, but he also seems to kind of be struggling a bit with the lights and the sound that they're trying to distract him with. His back is open to
I'm going to attempt to put him in a full Nelson. But what would that be? Maybe provoke or defend or directly engage. Let's see.
Well, you guys have already opened up a lot of like he's basically open right now because of their move, so engaging him wouldn't really open further. I don't know if that makes sense.
Okay. What I want to do is basically make sure he doesn't attack beatbox and highlight, right?
Yeah, so I would say that would definitely fall under like the defend section.
So what I want to do is I want to pin him or hold on to him. And basically, do the whole "you don't have to be like this. We don't have to fight."
Okay, yeah, I will let you roll defend to see how good the pin is, but yeah, that we can definitely have that conversation.
Okay. Roll plus savior, okay?
If you scruff him like a kitty, will he just curl up? Asking
don't
for
know.
a friend. Harry.
See, that's the true secret to his bulk up power. Like his neck is disappearing, so his weak point is covered. Okay, so that's you come in with an excellent full Nelson there. You definitely are able to get your arms around him, pin him good. He's still a good bit bigger than you, so I mean like your arms are definitely kind of like having some trouble meeting all the way around him, so to speak, but you are able to sort of subdue him for the moment.
All right. I'm going to do the "we don't have to fight, brother. This is just because someone says you have to doesn't mean you have to. We could go and run in the park and chase squirrels and bark at the mailman."
I don't think
You-
cats like to do that anyway.
Muscle Sheep probably doesn't know that.
he's kind of straining against your hold, and he'll say, with rising frustration, "You don't understand. This will have to happen one day. I'm incomplete until I defeat you. You're incomplete until you defeat me. This has to end, she."
Can Jillian cut in on the conversation? Like, did she hear that?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's shouting.
We're not
and you're
being
all,
quiet about it.
And
yeah,
at that point,
you're all right there.
Jillian just snaps. Says
I imagine she says who, but you cut out.
God,
Just says.
I love Discord so much. It's such a good program that never fucks up.
At least you're not Atherin, like you can't be heard half the time.
Hmm. But yeah, Jillian just like shouts, "Says who?"
Okay, panel shift there as the last panel on that section would be just Cat like kind of freezing in his struggle and looking at you, Jalim.
Mm-hmm.
But over to this other side, Void Spawn, Marrow's looking at you, kind of a little bit perplexed, a little bit trying to see if you're okay. But you do hear there'd be nice sound effects, bubbles of things moving and sounding very scary from inside the tower.
For the time being, what I'd like to try to do, I don't know if it'll work because it's not strictly a power, but I'd like to see if I could use my power negation on the poison I'm assuming that's in my system now.
You,
Like it comes from a power, but I don't know if it counts as a power.
yeah, this is a tricky spot, and my thinking of it is her power lets her have these like appendages and implements, but they're natural, quote unquote.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
I don't know if that would.
Yeah, I'd probably try it anyway just to see if it works, but other than that, just taking a defensive position, I guess, readying for whatever counterattack she's going to try and spring on us.
Fair enough. You kind of form this defensive posture. Marrow sees you, you know, your eyes trained on this hole in the tower, and he's like, "Oh shit, right," and assumes his own defensive position. The battle rages on behind you. The panel would zoom into this hole in the tower. There'd be smoke, debris, um, a very unclear picture in there. And then there's the same shot with the two glowing yellow eyes in it. And the next shot, Echidna bursts out from in the tower, her raincoat torn to shreds, thrown to the side, and out of the back of her uh, dingy lab coat underneath it, two very large bat wings, allowing her to fly and rejoin her brethren at the top of the tower.
That's cheating.
She looks unhappy. She's definitely ruffled. There's that stereotypical little bit of like forehead blood where she struck the tower. She looks injured, but she is GTFOing from the battlefield.
Well,
If
this
she's
seems
leaving,
like as good an opportunity as any to do something I've been thinking of having Void try out. Because I can shapeshift into a variety of different things. I'm going to try to shapeshift into armor and sprout wings from my / his back and fly him up there.
Okay, so you said you're going to shapeshift into what exactly?
Armor. So just kind of like mold my body around him and sprout wings from my back so he can fly up there.
On Tamara.
Yeah.
Okay. He starts cursing, and there's some expletive trying to shake you off at first as he's unsure what's happening as his friend turns into slime and starts to cover him. Probably seen a few too many RPG horror movies and played a bit too much D&D in his day, I guess.
Yeah, sure, if that's what you want to call it.
Everyone's just like, what is he doing?
Just roll with it.
But you are able to form the armor. It's gonna probably be an unleash your powers roll to get very functional wings going, since that's a bit beyond the realm of just shape shifting. That makes sense.
Okay.
He'll be able to. You'll be able to fly him no matter what, but how well it works will depend. Okay. You're going to be able to get him up there. There will probably be some funny panels involved with that of his face coming very close to the camera. um, However, if this becomes like a chase or something, you are not going to be able to keep up with her wing.
Okay, that makes sense. Kind of focusing on being armor and wings at the same time.
So your Iron Man impromptu creation starts to launch off. There'd probably be like that large A as it gets smaller and disappears into the sky as he just screams as you take off. You guys are going towards the ceiling. Back down there, at the battlefield, Muscle Cat's looking at Jalim. He kind of turns his head as much as he can and kind of looks back at you, Sheeb, as he says, "We were made incomplete. Of course I say so. Where do you say not, little one?"
I mean, you
Muscle
look
sh-
complete to me.
Oh,
A complete jerk.
Shut up, highlight.
Just saying.
Yeah,
What were you saying, Ryukin?
Muscle Sheep also thinks Highlight should shut up.
Oof.
Big oof.
I didn't even say anything mean this time. Well, not to anyone else.
He's kind of recommencing, straining against your hold, but maybe not quite as violently as before, as he says, "We were only parts. I can be better, stronger. Why would I want to be finished?"
so out of curiosity, how is when he was in a full Nelson Frozen, did he de-Hulk a bit, or did he stay at that giant state?
He's still very hulked out.
Hmm. So are there any plants in the near vicinity?
I think you would find maybe trace amounts. There's definitely all kinds of algae and mold just outside the tunnel, but maybe not anything full-bodied for your purposes.
Well, if that's the case, she's going to try and will it to at least grow into something else entirely. Like, this is something that she's never done before. So she's trying to make one plant turn into another. In this case, catnip.
Okay. That's definitely an unleash your powers roll. This isn't me
Yeah.
trying to be unfair with this system, but I would say unless this is a full hit, it's not going to work out super well because this is
I figured.
pushing.
Well,
Double sixes.
How to destroy Rin's campaign. Step 1.
Roll.
Keep the conversation going. What's going to happen is, as you two are talking, Jalim, you extend your powers, try this new thing. You can almost feel this algae that you're willing to move through the soil from back in the tunnel coming into the cave with you, trying to move it to underneath your feet, and it's going to sprout into a sprig of catnip between your feet, but you have to keep conversation going for a bit.
and then, now I'm trying to think.
Cat.
I'm thinking along the lines of maybe being complete isn't all it's. Or who says you need to be complete? I am Sheep, and I am having fun. I have friends. What will change
Yeah.
if we become complete?
Yeah, once again, the fluffy tail of your sword starts to wag, and the voice of Fox comes out as well and says, "Listen to him, brother. Sheep has taught me much about what it means to be warrior and not warrior."
Like, yeah, you don't always have to fight. Like, you don't always have to sharpen your blade, temper your fist, or whatever it is you do. You can just relax. Not everything has to be about combat.
I was to be Mother's perfect chimera, her Cerberus, the guardian of her underworld. I could not let her
Sheeb,
down.
Sheeb is going to perk up at this, and he's going to understand. He's going to more or less figure out what Echidna's trying to do here, and he's going to basically say in a low voice in Cadillac. He's basically going to say in a low voice, "So was I," and he's going to basically say, "Echidna mother might have made me, but I am Sheeb. I make decisions. Mother does not make decisions for me. Fox and I were once slated to battle, but we grew in understanding and became better. You are no different, Cadillac. Like me, we are not our mother's creation, but we are ourselves. You must define what you are. No one else can tell you who you are. Hello, I am Sheeb." Basically, trying to pull out my moment of truth here, saying that Sheeb is more than just a creation of Echidna's. Sheeb is what he wants to be.
All right. Well, here's a good part of this then. If you are going to invoke your moment of truth, I get to step back and shut up. I'll still voice the characters, but you become DM for a bit, Ryukin. Not like you're not used to that.
Okay, so I unleash this logic. I basically tell Catastrophe that it doesn't matter if Echidna created you or if Apollo created you, if you were created to become the best superhero or become the greatest creation. Just because they created you doesn't mean that they have the will over you. You can still choose to be what you want to be. And Cadillac just kind of, I'd see Cadillac just kind of ponder it as us in this little pile here, as I've kind of got Cadillac, pinned to the ground, and we're all just sitting there. He just kind of stops for a moment, and then he just starts to shrink down a bit, and Sheep can feel that Cadillac is not resisting anymore. And Cadillac utters one sentence, a question. And do you want to pick one, or do you want me to pick one?
Yeah, as he's maybe shrinking down, he says, "If not to be Cerberus, then what shall I be?"
And I imagine at this time, Muscle Fox returns to his normal, muscly form. And he says, Catastrophe's a male, right?
Yes.
Okay. Muscle Fox returns to his form and kind of picks up Catastrophe, like shakes his hand, says, "You will be our brother."
Yeah, and I imagine probably at that moment, Jalem, you feel just beneath the surface your seed waiting to sprout.
At this point, she's about to let it grow, but she's gonna wait. If it turns out that Muscle Cat really can't be dissuaded, she's actually going to make it grow. So she'll wait for if she needs.
But as long as things are going well, you're going to leave it?
Right.
Okay, well, Yeah, I would say probably sensing maybe some of the animosity fade. The sword would start to shake in your hand, Ryukin, and as soon as you drop it, it would start to shift back into muscle fop. Yeah, and he would also extend his hand out and say, "Yes, all three of us can grow stronger together, but not the same person."
We will find another way to be the greatest. Separate, yet strong.
Understanding, not control.
And then I imagine Catastrophe has a line.
Yeah, he'll probably just look between the two of you, look back up at towards Echidna, who is not waiting for him. She's up in the middle of her swarm of bats fighting with Marrow and Void Spawn, and sort of seeing that his eyes sort of harden a bit, and as he stands and takes both of your hands and says, "Together, not control."
The path you walk from today is your own. We will not tell you what path to walk, but we will help you along it. Also, isn't it cool how Muscle Fox can turn into a sword? As Sheep starts wagging his tail.
Yeah, that would probably like kind of crack it a bit, and Cat would say, "I wish I could turn into sword. I can only get bigger." Fox would like cross his arms and look very pleased with himself, his tail wagging, and say, "I was made with coolest power."
Oh
She was
boy.
like, "But I want to be taller." She was like the smallest of the three. Well, Cadillac's the smallest, but he can, grow bigger, so.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah. Well, that's you guys have managed to sort of turn this around and got your brother's now not hell bent on killing you.
And
Well, I
so
think he was only really hell-bent on killing me and Fox. I don't know about
True.
other people.
Well, the Jillim shot him after that.
That's a valid point.
That's true.
Jillian just like quit silently puts the like.
Just gonna pretend I didn't have this in my hand.
you need
Yeah.
an intervention, Jillum.
No, I don't. Besides, an intervention for what?
Your firearms?
But they help.
You have a problem.
No, I don't.
Stop it. Get some
Get
help.
some help.
Hmm.
Highlight, what is your reaction to this?
To wait to Jolem getting roasted?
Yes, but also the conclusion of that fight.
I'm happy for Sheeb. He didn't have to kill his brother.
And he's gonna get so many likes when he posts the recording of the fight on Instagram.
I didn't record it, so no one's gonna know this happened.
Yeah, but here's the thing: just a picture with all three of them is probably gonna get more Instagram likes than yours.
I'm just gonna block that. I'm just gonna put that to the side for now and just think about the good things right now.
Oh man. None of you individually might become the Cerberus, but your mini team name is totally going to be the Cerberus for the trio of you.
Oh, yeah.
The team subunit.
Yeah, the subgroup with their own debut. Okay, in the sky, then kind of shifting the panel from this lovey-dovey moment to bats, bats, oh my god, bats, as Miro is just getting bat to the face, then bat to the face, then more bats to the face as he's trying to chase Echidna as she's fleeing from the scene.
Are all the bats saying I like bread?
They lick the bread.
Oh, come on. None of you get that?
I didn't
don't.
hear it. You got what? What did you say?
Is that a Batman Piderman thing?
A
No,
what?
it's a
No,
cat.
no.
I'm gonna YouTube it.
Here
Google
you go.
search it.
I put it in chat. The last line is I licked the bread. Okay, Void Spawn, you're kind of flying Marrow, so you are sort of in the pilot seat here. So what's the plan?
Hmm. So you know what? I am going to. No, because I don't know what happened on the ground. We took off before the fight ended, so I don't know that the fight is over. But I'm gonna try to instigate her into trying to fight us rather than continuing to run away. This challenger saying, "You said we were 60 years too early. Why are you running away?"
Alright, if you would like to actually roll to provoke her, you can do so.
Alrighty. Oh, and I do actually have a penalty to that. Does it take the penalty automatically, or do I have to add that?
I want to say it will probably do it will automatically, so go ahead and give it a try.
And if not, we can do the math in our heads.
Yeah, pretty simple numbers.
Oh, it failed anyway.
But does that take the -2 in?
No, it does not. So for future reference, do still have to do that.
Okay, so yeah, that was only a 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so you call that out. Marrow kind of tries to join his voice to yours, but it gets drowned out in bats that are hitting him in the face. Echidna just continues to swerve much more elegantly away from you. It just almost looks like she's kind of upside down surfing in a way. She's flying away from you and she's got her hand up in just the mass of bats that are clinging to the ceiling, like kind of skimming the water, so to speak. And then you start to notice that as like where she's moving, there are blank spots being left in the ceiling, as if she's collecting things as she's flying.
Well, that's concerning. Also, more importantly, I think at the moment, does it look like she's flying to somewhere, or is she just like circling the ceiling?
She is just circling the tower.
Uh, I am going to suggest to Marrow that instead of giving chase, we start trying to take out as many of these bat things as we can to try to stop her from gathering more of them.
You won't get much of a word out, but you see beneath sort of your armor, each of his finger bones extends and becomes almost like Freddy Krueger claws type of a thing. Starts lashing out. This isn't animal cruelty, for those of you who ask, because as he slashes at them, there's not blood and bodies. They pop almost like balloons and just become a black sludge that starts to rain to the floor below.
You're welcome, everybody on the ground.
I would say highlight with your pristine image is the first one to get this drop of black, like almost tar on your shoulder.
Ugh, why? I almost don't even want to touch it with my hand.
Emily has never been happy to be wearing a mask.
And Jillian is happy to not be where highlight is.
But
That's
do you-
just generally true, though.
right. See, but the question is, do you look up?
Sure. What do I see?
You see the agitation of the ceiling of bats as they react to the first punctures, and many of them start to leave their perches, start to fly down towards you. Some of them leave back out the tunnel. Some of them start to dive bomb the rest of you. A little bit of pandemonium starts to break out.
We got a dip.
We can't just leave them hanging out.
Highlight considers this for a moment. Like, okay, she's right. What could clear these bats out?
Light?
They can't. No, I guess, yeah, that's the point. Okay, so
Oh, wow.
I'll try to flashbang them.
Okay, are you trying to this will affect the scale here. Just your immediate friend group? Are you trying to like blow the cavern up kind of a
If Emily amplifies me, would we have to use a team?
if you want to spend a team preemptively to like boost the move, I will allow that for the narrative.
Because I want to try and clear, well, not clear the whole place, but just make it big enough that it would affect a wide range around us.
All right, so if Emily, you're cool with that, you guys can preemptively spend a team, and both of you make unleash your powers.
Ooh. Why is my freak so... Well, my freak's a 0. Okay.
So is mine, but you know what? YOLO, no.
Oh, no!
Why did you roll?
She just wanted to. She wanted to be included.
Unleashed her gun power.
I mean, I can if you need me to.
She shoots a bat. Okay, there, one less to worry about.
No,
I'm
she'll
back.
just like
What did I
shoot at.
miss?
She'll just empty the clip again.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna empty your clip somewhere if you don't stop this shit.
What?
Oh Jesus, Emily's getting testy.
I like to imagine that everybody's going a little bit deaf from the gun firing right next to them too, in this big empty echo chamber.
You can negate the sound, right?
Okay, so the power boosting isn't going to go super well. Thankfully, highlight you did roll very well, so your immediate vicinity is going to get the effect. You just might not hit the whole room, if that makes sense.
My voice cracks. I just start coughing. Like, nobody... That didn't happen. Ignore that part.
It cracks specifically because Jalim shoots a bat and some more tar splats on you.
Okay, I like that.
Okay, So Ryukin, what you missed, the combat that's going in the ceiling has started agitating the bats. And they don't seem to be super real bats because as they are being killed, they're like popping like balloons and becoming sludge. Looks like they're more of Echidna's powers at work.
Well, that's disturbing.
So three things are going to happen all at once. Uh, no, we'll do two. Your light's going to go off, highlight. The bats in your immediate vicinity, sort of on your side of the tower, all scream and start to scatter a lot more, go out of the tunnel entrance behind you, trying to just leave. Um, Up at the ceiling, however, as you're flying along, Void Spawn, you notice that whatever she seems to have been collecting, Echidna seems to have finished. And she suddenly about faces, her wings flipping, and she turns to face you. You guys almost go sailing past her. And what she's holding in her hand is a much bigger glob of this tar, like think like Atlas's globe kind of thing.
Uh, hmm. I don't know what she's going to do with that just quite yet, but I am going to prepare to do evasive maneuvers because I feel like she's probably going to throw it at us.
So, are all of you at least familiar enough with Pokemon to know what Crobat is?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm,
So she chucks it at you. You got that right. And it immediately starts to shift from a ball of tar into Crobat if he was in a horror game. It's this big mass with just open mouth, vampire teeth, multiple sets of wings, and it just starts sailing, shrieking at you.
You know what? Emily's gonna shriek right back at it.
Like girlish squeak or like her power?
It's like her power.
Okay. Well, hold on. I was going to say let's check if you dodge it, Void Spawn, but I remembered why I was saying I wanted three things to happen at once. Your wings start to stiffen and stop flapping because a certain poison paralytic that was circulating your system starts to kick in.
Hmm. Yeah, that's going to be a problem. Am I falling immediately, or do I still have a little bit of movement before that happens?
You can make a last ditch movement of some variety, but you're gonna start tanking.
I'm gonna try and give like one last good powerful boost with the wings to get us like right up to the ceiling. So hopefully, Marrow can just like jab his claws in and give us something to cling on to, so we don't plummet to our deaths.
Okay, let me think here. Marrow probably has a no, no, it hit the back. He's probably got a high savior given his background with Titania. So I'm gonna have him roll to defend your ass. Because I don't know if this would be directly engaging the ceiling. I don't know if the ceiling is a threat.
Directly engage the environment.
There you go. Okay. I'd imagine you're not able to get a lot of conversation now as you're sort of being paralyzed at the moment, but he seems to get the gist, and sure enough, much how you'd want him to, he's able to cling to the ceiling with some variety of his bone uh, constructions, which is good because you were just able to get out of the way of this nightmare bat monster that has cleared you and is now heading straight to the clump of your friends. Emily, you're trying to engage it. Is everyone else gonna just scream in terror or also gonna try and engage it?
I try to shoot it down. Well, not with like my powers.
I'm going to do the. I'm gonna knit my hands together and bend down and kind of motion with my head towards Muscle Fox, like I'm gonna give him the alley oop.
To Fox or to Cat?
Well, I motioned to Fox because I don't want to pressure Cat into immediately fighting.
Okay, gotcha. All right, Fox will nod. He'll step into your palms there and start to creak his neck. Jalim, are you gonna just shoot the bat?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
So this time she's actually gonna take aim first instead of just shooting wildly.
All right, so let's do it this way. This is a comic book, not a live show, so I can't have my classical music, Hall of the Mountain King playing of this series of unfortunate events, but it will come through in the action. Everyone who isn't Void Spawn, who is in his own world, can make a combined big old team directly engage a threat roll.
So we all roll danger.
Yep, all of you make your own danger rolls. It'll be a big team effort. Oh Jesus!
Go team!
Oh, I just got a regular hit.
Okay. Not bad.
Just for flavor, does anyone want to use a team to make Jalim's also a team?
Who would I guess I'm just thinking about like how would we bolster her bullet?
Okay, I'll do it this way. Jalim, you start to take pop shots at the bat. The first 5, it is so large, easily hit, but the 6th shot of your pistol, you go and you start aiming it. Titania just walks forward, shoves you in the back, pushes you down onto the ground, takes your gun, and fires the 6th shot very accurately.
Like, what the fuck? Like, okay. Huh.
Does she have firearm training?
This is slightly more thematic, but we can get into that later.
Spends most of her time eating junk food, probably spends the rest of it playing video games.
Okay.
She's got a Time Crisis arcade
Arcade
cabinet.
cabinet, yeah.
Okay. Gunshots going. Light, blade of light shooting. A shriek against his shriek. Muscle Sheeb, you shoot Fox up into the air. He's flying. He extends his arm, almost like that Superman position. You're not sure what he's doing, as he shifts into a large spear mid-flight. Point extended.
Man, I wish I could do that.
All of them connect with this big monster bat right in the center of its open mouth. These vampire-like teeth that are around it are each as big as you are people, but the combined effort of it seems to be enough, and the big ball of black tar explodes, flooding the cavern floor beneath you, several inches thick. The tower begins to shake and lean as it fills with this substance. And then in the background, behind the exploding bat, you just see Marrow and Voidspawn fall from the ceiling.
Oh no.
As the paralysis has taken full effect and you just start dead falling.
Didn't Marrow grab the ceiling or no?
He
Was that
did.
just like a temporary thing?
It was mostly a temporary thing.
Oh, okay.
Well, Muscle Sheep get in position to try and catch him.
Okay, roll to defend.
Sheep helps.
Oh, nice. Oh, a 1 and a 6 with a 0 modifier.
What? 0? Oh, because I'm insecure. Right.
Okay, so you are able to do so. Let's see, expose yourself to danger. So you launch Muscle Fox up, but you're in position to help, but you shift from throwing him up, dive forward. You have to kind of move through the sludge. You almost have to like doggy paddle through it at one point, but you are able to almost princess catch this armor covered marrow void spawn mannequin out of the air.
And of course, faceplant into the sludge.
Oh yeah, and as it's rising, it probably covers you, almost like it's becoming a water in here.
I'm try and stand up and not let Void Spawn and Marrow get covered in goo.
Well, you are all able to see as this tar starts to fill the cavern that the tower is definitely like not long for this world. It's not doing so well. But are you going to try and finish it off, run out of there as soon as you can? What's your last plan here?
Well, I assume I'm still paralyzed.
So you are. It's a little weird because you're also not really a vertebrate, so you're not like unconscious or anything, but you're having some definite stiff leg.
If I can, I'd like to at least unarmor form so Marrow's not like stuck being paralyzed with me.
Yeah, you can definitely do so, and you'll just basically be a very, very like groggy type of void spawn. But I'd say Sheep could probably throw you over his shoulder and you'd be pretty safe.
I throw him over my shoulder. Well, it, her, I don't know. It's Void Spawn.
And I feel pretty safe.
Okay, so are you gonna GTFO? What are you doing as a group?
Now
I feel
looking
like
at this. Whoa.
Go ahead.
We need we need to actually break this tower.
That's what I was gonna say
Because
too.
did anyone bring any explosives? No? Yeah, I figured.
What
Well,
if?
we do have 3 of the strongest creatures in the city right here with us.
Yeah, basically.
Hmm.
As Fox is landing, I'm going to say, "Brothers, the tower is our enemy."
Pretend it's like the car.
That will get Fox. He says, "Ah, yes, the car, a worthy enemy."
Car's bigger sibling than a car. So if you really want to
The
sharpen
taller
your
cousin.
blade, now is a good time to do it.
Cat will kind of look at uh, Voids or not Void Spawn, Highlight and Emily and kind of shrug, like, "Are they always that earnest?"
That's a good way of putting it.
They'll kind of shrug, start to bulk back up and say, "Well, together then." All right, you three come at it from different sort of triangle positions. You smash into it, use your powers.
I very gently hand Void Spawn off to Beatbox.
Beatbox. You have Void Spawn, he's fine. He looks like he's drunk a lot.
What form is he in? Has he have you just like gone back to your blobular form?
No, I'd probably switch back to my human form.
Okay. Well, she'll do her best.
Human form seems easier to manage than the blob form. Especially now that the room is also filled with blob. That would get confusing.
Yeah, that's true.
So just as the room is starting to maybe get overfull with this tar stuff, you guys are starting to kind of wade in it. The tower starts to crumble down and smash into itself, implode as the muscles do short work.
And we all strike a pose as it's falling down.
Oh yeah, like as it's like you don't look at the explosion, you just look at the camera and flex.
Slowly
then-
walking away.
I imagine we're doing that, and then like Muscle Sheep and Muscle Fox are like, so why are we doing this? Catastrophe says something along the lines of, this is what must be done, or something.
Together, not control.
Muscle Sheep tried his hardest to look the most buff.
You can almost hear from, almost a mile above you in the city proper, a 4 echoing down.
Dang it!
You're lying.
Okay, well, the tide of tar starts to sweep you guys out, so you're probably going to need to start running back the way you came.
Gotta go.
As we're leaving the chamber, I would like to take a very quick look around to see if I see what the heck happened to a kid.
It's a good question because you guys are slipping and sliding your way out. You're trying to avoid like the current of the tar is to take it into the water that's beside the pathway. You try and sidestep back onto the path and not get swept in, given what you saw in the water earlier. And as you guys are starting to finally take your bearings, the doors of the cavern of the cavern entrance just slam all the way to their maximum open extent as a still flying echidna takes off screeching down the tunnel, moving much faster than you guys and disappearing around the bend.
I suspect that's not the last we'll see of her.
Probably. If anything, we'll probably see her, the brain, and the bitch. Ugh.
I
Not
imagine
to
you
mention
guys.
Belladonna.
Yeah, I picked up on it. You guys can start to make your way back along the tunnels, back towards at least more familiar territory, if not specifically to Marrow and Titania's old room. As you guys will start to leave, Emily, your phone will vibrate.
Okay. I'll do it, Elixir.
It is a GPS location request.
From my dad's?
It. There would be a sender part, and it's not your dads, you only see uh, I you would normally speak English. This would be in like katakana characters. I don't know if you could read that, but it would say virus.
I don't think she reads Japanese. She is out of character. You do know she's part Asian, but she doesn't know what part, and she doesn't speak a second language.
So you would just see funky foreign characters there.
Yep. Well, she's gonna deny that. She's gonna swipe and ignore it.
Swipe left.
Swipe left. Alright, well, you guys will continue on then.
So I guess now it's time to leave.
Are we still basically being swept out by the tide?
No, you guys were pushed a decent ways out of the immediate lab space, but after that you're able to kind of pick up and move of your own volition. And I would say shortly thereafter, the worst of your paralysis would start to wear off, Void Spawn.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. Was as the tide of sludge starts to abate a bit, I will try to collect some of it so we can study it back on my ship.
Well, there's plenty of it on Muscle Sheep's fur.
Yeah. You will definitely do so.
Oh no! As we get kind of out of the sludge, I can imagine Sheep just kind of standing there.
Oh, doing the
And-
dog shake.
Well, probably highlight or beatbox says something like, "Oh, I don't want to see any of this sludge again," and then shakes it everywhere.
It would be me. For sure.
Your designer jacket is just ruined. Highlight.
Like I'd wear a designer jacket in the sewers. Designer
Except you
parka.
totally would, though.
I thought everything you
Yeah.
had was designer.
Like a windbreaker at most.
Those are excellent videos. Okay, so you guys are going to start to make your way back. No one has to answer it. There will start to be the same phone tag phenomenon as before. Emily ignored hers. Highlight, you'd get one. If you have your phone on you, Void Spawn, you would get one. I think that would be it. Just you three. Marrow, but he's an NPC.
Does it seem at all like when this was happening earlier?
Familiar, not maybe the exact same. And this
Maybe it's those annoying kids.
Isn't Void programmed to, like, know languages? Could he decipher whatever hieroglyphics was on that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I probably wouldn't have like learned to read in the amount of time it took to fly here, so I probably do have some sort of a translator thing.
You will be able to decipher then that the title or the sender of it is literally virus.
And because I do not have a firm grasp of the English language either, I will relay to the group, I think whoever sent this seems to be sick.
Sick in what way?
Well, their name would indicate they have a cold.
What? Let me see.
Show her the phone.
You
Isn't
got
this
one of
like the
those
same?
too?
Isn't
Did
this?
you get one?
No. At least I don't think I did.
I got
She
one.
I got one.
Did Jolem get one?
Jolem conspicuously did not.
One?
FOMO.
But yeah, like, wait, didn't you guys get one before?
Yes, I am curious if it is the same individual as before. I'll go ahead and accept, see what happens.
Okay. What will happen is that app will open, your GPS signal extends. It seems that you're sending your location to whoever it is. It's as Highlight experienced before, signal down here is a bit touch and go, so it's not perfect. But that will happen, and shortly after, pixels will appear on your phone screen in the form of a thumbs up, a peace sign, and finger guns, and then disappear.
Well, if that individual from before does have the ability to physically enter the internet, then I believe that that probably was them just now.
It sounds like a good sign.
I'm not sure why they were looking for us, but anyone who is not currently under the influence of Young is a good ally to have.
Hmm. Wait, were like those little rats, like, weren't they trying to investigate this thing or whatever? Like, you remember those kids?
Yes, I'm not sure what their objective was, but
They had to rescue one of their own, right? Because she was the one who was doing that.
Nah.
I do not know if their intent is to interfere or to try to help defeat Young and the others, or just to simply lay low, but either way, it may be good to make contact.
About this time, you guys have passed a very familiar grate. Um, you almost would have missed it because it's not floating in the water anymore. It is replaced back snugly in the side of the wall where you saw a very big tentacle come out of before.
I think I saw that too, right? I saw it. I saw it put the grate back in.
You did, and yeah, and the puddle of blood substance that was in the water also seems to have cleared.
I'm just gonna like give the grate as wide a berth as I can as we're passing it by.
You all kind of skirt it. You start walking further away. You round a bend, except as the last of your shadows disappear, the panel stays on that grate. And then above the grate, the brick starts to crack, and the grate wobbles, and it falls back in. And the whole wall collapses as one tentacle, two tentacles, five of them all start pouring out of that hole, start to follow you guys down the tunnel, and on top of the central body of the figure, a cackling echidna.
What?
Oh no.
Of course, it belonged to her.
Is Echidna visible, like, clearly?
Okay. As it rounds the corner, chasing after you, I'm sure there'd be a panel of you all stopping, turning, looking, screaming perhaps. Yes, she's very visible, riding whatever monstrosity it is she created.
Hmm. Times like this, I'm really glad I don't work for you anymore. She just says that out loud.
All right, one quick question, and that'll set the pace. Are we running or not?
We're running. Well, I want to run.
I say we stay and fight. We need to defeat these people, and as Jillem suggested, if we do not fight her now, we will probably wind up fighting them together, which would be much worse.
Right. So we have to put her down now.
Fine, okay.
Okay, well, if you're gonna stay, then you'll get a less chaotic view and able to kind of make out what this is. This creature fills the whole tunnel that you guys are in easily. It has the body of almost a crab, but every leg and limb that comes out from its shell, instead of being chitinous, is one of these large coral snake colored sucker tentacles. It's like a crab, octopus, spider almost. And notably, it's scuttering sideways towards you.
Oh god. Like a crab walk?
Totally.
Oof.
Take a really big crab and just replace all of its legs with tentacles, and that's what it is.
Is it a Sabo crabber? Does it have a knife?
It does not have a knife.
God damn it.
You want one of its tentacles to end in a knife? Would that make you happier?
No, it's fine.
But does it have muscles?
Not that you can see.
Oh, okay.
Barreling down at you at very quick speeds. Obviously, she's going to try and run you over. Echidna just shrieks, shouting out that none can leave the underworld.
We're not even dead.
I would postulate that she has lost her mind, but I believe there has
She
been
didn't have.
plenty of evidence to this already before this.
Are you saying that out loud?
Yes.
And Jillian will just like snarl. She never had one to begin with.
That's a grade A burn.
What?
Well, if you're staying and fighting, Muscle Cat will assume a defensive posture, turn his head and look at you.
As much as I do not like hurting people, I fear we may have to bring this person down so that we may be free. Truly free.
If we wish to become dogs out of hell, we must break the gates.
Right. Actually, hey, Cat, question for you. How strong is your arm?
It can be as strong as I want it to be, little one.
In that case, like she pulls his arm down, like actually puts a hand in it. Throw me right up there. And she points at Echidna.
Is that safe?
It's not. Translator note, it's not. But he will do so, I guess. You put your hand in his, he tightens on it, grows larger and larger, mostly on his right side, so he looks a little uneven, and he just jucks you nice and hard.
And at that point, you think,
Yeah,
all right, now I just gotta. Wait. Oh crap! As like she's flying. I forgot to take into account for something. Editor's note. She's never had to aim while moving, so.
First time for everything.
Pretty much.
You're headed right towards her. Just pistol whip her.
So yeah, it's like how fast is she moving?
This crab could, in this sprint, could very easily keep up with bicycles and the like. So it's moving a lot faster than you guys down
Is he kinda chasing us, or?
here. He is literally trying to run you over, spurred on by her.
Oh. I think it sounds like Cat threw Jillem at her.
Yes, you did. Is
You
your
are rapidly approaching each other.
yes, very quickly.
Wait for it. And then at the very last second, like as like it's a little like it's a split panel between like face to face. That's when Jillem like reaches her hand out and tries like to grab Echidna.
Okay, roll to directly engage a threat. Okay. You connect. You wrap your arms around her. You maybe feel a beak poking at your shoulder and the bit of your exposed back she can reach, but you slam into her. The air comes out of your lungs. You see beneath her the red of the crab vanish, and you two fall and splash into the water. The crab, meanwhile, proceeds to barrel down very quickly at the rest of you.
I am going to take a moment of inspiration here from Muscle Fox. I'm going to you copy his weapon shifting ability and give Muscle Fox a sword of his own.
Oh god, okay. You do that. Muscle Fox nods, tosses you to Sheep, and turns into a sword that matches you, so Sheep is dual wield.
Oh boy.
I am now Sheeb at 200% efficiency.
Sheep Man the Barbarian.
I think Sheeb would actually toss Muscle Fox to no. Toss Void Spawn to Cadillac. Catastrophe. I don't know where I'm getting Cadillac. I'm sorry.
Okay, I didn't want to call it out.
Hmm?
I didn't want to ask where you were getting that from.
I honestly don't know why I keep calling him Cadillac, but I do it in my brain too. And it's really throwing me off.
Cadillac was his pet name before he was transformed into this.
Exactly.
But
All
I'm
of
gonna
the
throw Void Spawn to Catastrophe.
Yeah, he will grip the hilt and look at you and say, "I have not trained in weaponry. This will be a first."
Muscle Sheep will say, "It is okay. It's only Sheep's second time."
You guys go and start making some sashimi, I imagine. It's a nice slice and dice there. Sever some of the tentacles. The rest of you maybe kind of get down. The crab mostly kind of sails overhead and smashes into the bend that's up ahead, shakes it off, starts coming back at you, sort of thing. Just all kinds of chaos going on. Beneath the water, Jillian, you are struggling viciously with the Echidna. What are you trying to do?
So at this point, like, now Jillian's like reaching in her pocket. Like she's reaching for something that she's reaching basically for like a wooden bracelet that is pretty much something she had made a while ago. Basically, she's trying to make sure that they both come out of this alive, but she has Echidna tied down.
So you're just trying to restrain her, basically.
What, did you guys think it was gonna kill her or something?
Well, I'm asking for
Maybe.
clarity.
I mean, I can if you want me to. But no, like she's really at this point she's just trying to restrain her.
Okay, roll to. I'm not going to make you roll to engage it through it because you already did just a minute ago. You're grappling with her, you're trying to restrain her. She is not really happy about it, but interestingly, of all the modifications she has made to herself over the years, a glaring flaw that you quickly realize is that she does not have gills, so she also is not able to breathe very well down here.
Hmm.
So you guys are kind of on even footing of needing to resurface.
Yep.
Up above, there's still combat going on. The mussels are doing their best to keep the crab at bay. What will happen as you're just kind of slashing its legs off? The tentacles continue to kind of flail around a bit, even after they've been severed. The nerves still shooting around. If anyone gets touched by it, let's say maybe Cat gets kind of brushed on the shoulder, it does sting and burn. There's some sort of not super good juju on those tentacles, just to keep in mind. But you're doing a decent.
They're
Sorry,
cursed.
you're cursed. But
I'm assuming that then would also affect me while I'm being a sword.
it's tingly. You might need a cleansing milk bath after today's event.
Yeah, that'll be a new experience.
If they get destroyed, do the tentacles come back?
They do not seem to be yet. But what will happen, sort of, as we're getting to the end of this issue here? The mussels are holding the crab back. It's trying to still bowl you over. It seems to be whipped up into some sort of rage, but you guys will hear a noise coming from down the tunnel, still beyond you. It sort of reinvigorates you. Jalim and Echidna's head break the water behind you guys. The crab, its shell, it's still looking at you guys. At the top of it starts to buckle and crack, and then a red arm pushes through it and pulls back. The crab falls over defeated, and hey, there is fourfold justice behind him. But then
What?
beside him is Emily's dad's.
Oh shit. I'm
Wait,
in
what?
trouble.
Wait, what?
You see Hugo on his phone frantically tapping at the GPS information being sent to it. Scott is calling shots, saying, you know, four, grab her, grab the little girl's muscle fox, try and hold Echidna off. Things are going crazy. Jalim, last shot for you. How are you going to try and restrain Echidna?
This time she's actually going to use the wooden bracelet that she has, and actually just slap it on her wrists. Like she's gonna try and grab both of Echidna's wrists and bind them with that oaken bracelet, basically.
All right, you may do so. Just because of how crazy it is, do and unleash your powers to just try and make that last bit of plant manipulation work.
Wait, how much team do we have left?
3?
I
Yeah,
think
2 or
it's
3.
2. I think it's 2.
Just kidding.
Because 2 is enough to make it a pass.
I say use it, but the question is how?
Yeah.
Because you're basically by yourself, right?
Kind of, yes.
Highlight and Emily aren't directly engaging the crab at the moment, but the rest of everybody is. Unless Marrow or Titania can help.
Question for DM.
Yes.
Would you, because like, Echidna and Gillem are in the water, correct?
Yes.
Would you say that the water could, for this one scenario, count as like as an insurmountable wall, like it's interfering with her to put it on?
Let's see. This is regarding a move of yours.
Yeah, it's physics. What physics? When you unleash your powers to pass an insurmountable wall, roll danger instead of freak.
I would say that would apply here, and the wall is not the water. The wall is this very powerful enemy that is honestly beyond your capability to deal with.
Okay, so reroll. Much
Oh,
better.
thank you, roll 20.
Yeah.
Okay. It works.
Even when you're only rolling d6s, roll 20 still only knows max or min.
I know, right? What the
Basically.
hell?
Mhm.
Oh, you should see my 3.5 rolls.
Honestly, it's not even just the wood that you're using here. You're instinctually calling on like the algae and stuff in the water, binding her like a net, trying to hog tie her. One
Mhm.
of 4 arms reaches down and kind of picks her up out of your grasp, and Fourfold starts to kind of grasp her and says, "I got her, little one. I got her." 4.
I got her
The hell?
for you.
And then she looks up at 4 like, what the hell? Like, what are you doing here?
You
And
can
why are you helping?
save the questions for later. We must evacuate.
For now.
Crab.
Gillem just accepts his help to get out.
Yep, he will do so. Echidna is squawking and making a lot of unfortunate noises. She is not very happy at being detained right now.
And suddenly Void shouts out, "You'd best do what he says. You don't want to force his hand."
Oh boy.
Emily reaches out and just covers his mouth.
I cover it too.
You do so, at least Emily, briefly, because you are shortly about to be tackled by Hugo into a big bear hug as he just almost picks you up off the ground.
I really don't know how to react because I'm partially torn between, oh shit, I'm going to get deported somewhere, and hello.
What?
We were going to go to like Hawaii or something to move away from the area, remember?
Yeah.
I guess I would be imported then to a different country? I don't know, but she ran away, so she's kind of scared that she's gonna get in trouble now.
Okay, but this issue will kind of end in some confusion. You're not sure exactly why your dads are down here, why Fourfold is with them, why he seems to not be mind controlled right now. Perhaps these questions and more will be answered next time. But as you guys start to climb your way out of the sewer, the last shot of you guys would be Fourfold sticking his head up from the bookcase entrance into Marrow's room, shoving Echidna's bound form onto the floor and kind of heaving himself out of there. The last shot of the entire issue will be a very different room and a different tower than the one you were just in, as Dr. Young looks at a computer screen and sees one of three dots blip off the map. He rubs his hands together and laughs and he says, "Oh, good, yes, I see that they are making fine work of my competitors. I'll be so happy to see them when they've done and disposed of Belladonna. Eve, would you please bring me some Pinot Noir? That would do well for tonight, yes. Now, how to get them to destroy Belladonna first?"
Son of a.
The female companion with him, Eve, will come and pour the wine into his glass and bow and say, "As you wish, Professor." He will stare longingly at the screen. The issue will close with his golden eyes reflecting off the computer screen.
Honestly, given the state that we left Belladonna in last time, I don't think it'll take much convincing on his part to convince her to come to us.
Or for Jillian to put a bullet in her head.
God, we really need you an intervention.
Violence intervention.
Well, because, like, what? So you wouldn't want Jillian to do. Hang on.
Meme incoming.
No, hang on. Keep going. I'm looking for the thing I'm looking for.
Alrighty, well, that will be this issue done and dusted.